Welcome, welcome. So my goodness, so post-settlement, can everyone just take a deep breath? Oh, my goodness, we are here, right? So approximately a month after, and so we're gonna get to hear from some amazing, amazing leaders. And so let's get started with it right away. What changes or what have you guys seen as far as in the last 4 weeks, both in your company? I'll let you take it away. Martha.
What you got, Martha?
Martha, okay. Well, first of all, this energy is like palpable. You guys have fun.
Yes.
I've been
we
hugged.
have fun, right, Nora? Yes, yes.
It's my first NAREB, and it's not my last, for sure. But I think I've been hugged more times in the last 24 hours than I have in a year. My gosh.
It sounds right.
Right?
Sounds right.
Well, we have seen so much, and I'll never forget that the very moment that I personally heard about the NAR settlement, which kind of changed the path of how we do real estate, was on March 15th.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember that because I was in Washington, D.C. visiting my daughter, who's in law school there, and for her birthday, and I got that news on East Coast time. So all my California friends were sound asleep, and I got the news. I started texting them and calling them, and it was you know, a very surreal moment, I think, for all of us. But for us at Berkshire Hathaway, what we did was immediately double, triple, quadruple down. And I know my VP of training is out there. I have to give him a shout out. Sam Guillen is out there, and he and I met, and I said, look, we just got to start doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on the training. And I called my daughter this morning, and by the way, I have 2 Latino children. My children are 50% Latino.
Ooh, there we go.
So, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, I suppose, right? Yeah. I have a Latino and a Latina, and she was so thrilled that I will be here today because they're both Latino, and they are first-time home buyers, so.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Kuba, how about yourself? What changes?
Well, you know what? The market always evolves, and there's always, how do they say, a boogeyman. There's always a boogeyman. Low inventory, headwinds, surprises, just uncertainty. But as a realtor community, we're all resilient, right? Before starting Realty One, almost 20 years ago, I can't believe it, but my first full year was 111 properties that I closed. A lot of sleepless nights. I felt like I was by myself. Our first baby on the way. And we just figured it out. And we're all entrepreneurs here, right?
Yeah.
We always figure it out, but you have to always remember, and this is actually, I believe that there's power in pause. So to reflect what has worked, reflect what hasn't worked, and also think about what you need to start doing going forward, right?
Yeah.
Things are changing. There's a shakeup. I always love a healthy, good shakeup. But please remember that you're not alone. Yeah. You're not alone. Everybody struggles, and if you say that you're not struggling, you're lying to yourself. Everybody struggles. Everybody sometimes feels in a funk. But you know what? Can I give it up to the audience because they had one thing to do.
Please, we have the
they
best
they invested
audience.
in themselves. Mm-hmm. They could be home, idle, stuck. Nobody wants to be stuck, right? And as entrepreneurs, you want to just get things moving, right? Yes. You want to get going. You can't overplan life. You can't over-engineer and over-design life, especially if you have that fire and that entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah. You got to just get going. So I applaud all of you for being here together to get inspired, motivated, and also educated here. So can we give a round of applause?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome.
I mean, you mentioned it.
Say that, no. I'm a shy guy, but now I'm going. But you know what? You know, we go to events throughout the year, every year. And with what Gary's done, with Armando and everybody else, his brilliant team, Nora, yourself, you know, this is refreshing. NAREP has the bright, fresh minds of the future, the vibe. Like, if everybody can experience this, it'll just, like people will break out. They're going to get inspired. So I really love to be a part of NAREP and just the people and just hearing conversations, being part of conversations. You know, it's kind of like the old saying. It's like, especially right now with the bounce back and the snap back that everybody's positioning themselves for an incredible 25, 26. Does everybody believe that? Yes? Yeah. So do you wait for opportunities or do you create and hunt for opportunities, right?
I love that.
And that's why you show up. Like, forget about Zoom. We're all Zoomed out, right? Yeah. Like, this is very, very special to be a part of and be around each other right here. So
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that, Kuba. And I agree with you. And you share a lot about that. And thank you for pouring that. I know you share it with a lot of folks, right? That you've experienced a different type of energy. And so I think you're correct. Regardless of what the market's doing out there, you come to an event, and I heard some other panelists say, "It just doesn't feel like anything's wrong. You know, anything's happening here, right?" You walk in certain offices or even conferences, and the vibe is different. So going on to the next question is, what tips or what challenges have you seen or opportunities in what we have seen happen after the settlement or even during, right, as we're getting prepared?
You know, I really believe the opportunities far outweigh the challenges, but I don't want to put my head in the sand and say there were no challenges with the new business practices, right? I mean, absolutely, there are some really significant challenges. And I think number one, for all of us in this room, during the settlement and during all of the, I'm going to call them spurious and unfair headlines, the clickbait headlines, that was really a challenge because I think our agents had to kind of psychologically wrap their mind around that's not who they are, what they are saying in the headlines. And so I think every day you had to kind of get back on the horse and say, you know what, it's a new day, it's a good day, positive opportunities. I really believe that this decoupling of commission and the commission settlement really has raised the bar for all of us. There are so many agents out there that are selling real estate as a hobby, and I don't think that's going to happen anymore. Right? It's a profession. We're National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
Yes,
right?
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think that that's something that we can really capitalize on, and we should be very proud of what we do. It's a very noble profession, and I'm a lawyer too, a recovering lawyer and a business executive, so I'm on 3 of the lowest of the respect level, but hey, real estate agents are up there, and they are going to keep climbing, and you just have to keep educating yourself and educating the consumer that, you know, we really aren't the headlines.
Absolutely. Leveling it up to we are professionals.
Yes.
Absolutely. At Nora, as you guys know, we really feel that pride and that passion where we feel that our impact has, you know, not just with one family, but it's a whole community, right? We are here to serve the community, educating them. So tell me a little bit about some of the challenges or opportunities you've seen with this, Kuba, in the last couple of months.
Again, going back to the shakeout, you know, what kind of narrative do you want to be around? Who do you want to be around on a daily basis?
Yeah.
And choice is very, very powerful. So waking up, shaping your day, who you want to surround yourself with, and just in recent months, over the past month, it actually died down a little bit because now we know where we're headed.
Yeah.
But I'm always still boots on the ground, speaking with real estate professionals, not agents. I don't believe in the word agents, real estate professionals.
I love
that the consensus was less. A little nervousness, right?
Yeah.
Less, you know, commission compression is going down, so less commission. Less members in NAR. There's going to be a wave of consolidation with the brokerages, so less companies. I don't want to talk about the minimum.
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about, entrepreneurs don't want to talk about minimum. I don't want to talk about minimum. I want to surround myself around people who talk about more, right?
Yeah,
What can we do more? You know, we love this game. We love this profession. We love real estate. I love real estate. But this is the game that you have to play a little bit differently to achieve the same results or more results, right? Just a little bit different in the same game. So how do you just win more, achieve more, to provide more for your family? I want to be talking about maximum and blow through that maximum, right? So collectively, as a realtor, loving professionals amongst the realtor communities, like, we got to also understand, again, power and pause and reflection is, we can't anticipate and expect that we're going to be doing a transaction with, you know, a realtor on the other side with the same company that they're associated with, that are like ourselves. So again, we just have to lift each other up and embrace what's going on right now and encourage each other in the realtor community.
I love that you're saying that, and it is important to say, you know, have you seen any changes in regards to the commission structure, anything related to that in your offices within larger teams that is, you know, worthy of us kind of talking about today? Mm-hmm.
So it's just, yeah, do you want to take it? Or I'll take it.
Please
So it's really, it's bottom line, showing your value, right?
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in a position of explaining, right? Now more than ever, it's action. It's leading with heart and love and showing the care, because people will see through if you're not authentic, genuine, sincere with everything that you're doing. So the quality professionals will present themselves with more quality and become more, more professionals going forward, that I believe. But really showing, not talking, not selling, but showing your value.
Right. I believe the agent is the presentation. So all the tools and all of these things are great and wonderful, right?
Boom.
Boom, you like that? You can have it. Okay. I really do, but I got that from another agent on a webinar the other day, but I loved that. You are the presentation, and I just think it's so incredibly important for us, as we're talking to our agents, to really to acknowledge the contracts on both sides, because we now have two buckets, right? We have a bucket where we have the listing commission, and we have the bucket for the buyer's fee, right, that they'll be paying. So I think it's really important when you sit down in a listing appointment, as our trainer is training all of our agents, you need to show them. In California, for those of you guys that are Californians out there, we got one, okay. Do you love our sunny San Diego? Do you love this venue? Okay. Now you see why we pay our sunshine tax. But it's, you really need to explain to a seller when you're sitting down at the listing appointment, hey, you will likely be asked to participate in some of the buy-side fee. And this is what this looks like. This is what the California offer looks like, purchase agreement. And this is what, an SPBB, if you're in California, you know what that is, seller paid buyer broker. It's another form that can be attached to the offer. This is what you may be seeing. I think setting the expectations up front and letting them know is absolutely key in this environment.
Excellent. So in this new landscape, for brokerages, what do you think brokerages really need to do to adapt and really embrace right now for their agents and really to grow and thrive, right? I'll let both of you answer as well. Because we have smaller brokers
sure.
In the audience, and so it's important to kind of mastermind on that
Yeah.
sense too.
I'm gonna go with what Kuba said, and it's so much of the mindset.
Yeah.
Tom Ferry is a good friend of mine, and the one thing he said, are you going to be a buffalo or are you going to be a cow? I mean, that was his his mantra, right? The buffalo walks into the storm and survives. The cow, walks away and doesn't always survive. So I just think being a mindset is so incredibly, incredibly important. Contracts are contracts. You're all going to learn the contracts, right? I think it's just really having the right mindset and being proud of what you do. And it is a noble profession, what we do. We find people a place to call home, and we navigate them through very complex contracts and making most likely the largest purchase of their entire life. So we should be proud of that and not afraid, and mindset is huge. I agree with Kuba on that.
Buffalo.
Be a buffalo.
Can I
Don't
tell
be
a
a cow.
quick story?
Please.
Be a buffalo.
So I grew up in Southern California in Orange County for about 30 years. Between Mission Viejo, San Juan Capistrano, and the surrounding areas, Laguna Hills. Our headquarters is Laguna Niguel. Everybody's invited. It's awesome. It doesn't even look like an office. It's kind of an event center. It's a chill zone. It's huge. It's beautiful. Shameless plug, sorry. So when we moved to Colorado, the mountains of Colorado, we lived in Vegas. That's where I proved out the model 20 years ago. And then we became, from desert people to beach people, and now we're mountain people. And new experiences. So one of the first pieces of furniture that I bought 2 years ago was a buffalo. I don't know why I'm buying buffalo, but when I walked into the furniture store, that buffalo was huge.
Yeah.
It's looking at me. And I bought it because my wife is from Ukraine, and that's when the war started breaking out. And my wife is one of the strongest women I know. Being married to your best friend, the quality of life goes up and becomes more purposeful, just enjoyable every day. And she just wants to go through storms.
Yeah.
A year ago, one of my friends walked through the door and said, do you know that the buffalo is the only animal that goes through snowstorms?
There you go.
Do you know that?
We got a connection.
And
Yep,
the contained and controlled cow takes shelter and runs away.
Yep.
Right? And that's what we're seeing, unfortunately, with a lot of leaders right now. They're not going through the storm as teams, but believing in themselves. You have to embrace the inner bison in yourself. Otherwise, you're the contained or the controlled cow that fluffs around, plays defense rather than offense, and looks for shelter for that that storm, that new storm to go through. That buffalo wants to blow through that storm, and he wants to live life past that storm, right? And that's what entrepreneurs do, right? That's what we do, but not alone, but together. That's why all of this matters so much.
It does.
This matters so much that we're together.
Absolutely, it does. And thank you so much for sharing that story. I mean, I want to jump into saying what strategies have you started to utilize or maybe implemented because of these changes in regards to your recruiting and expanding your team, your company. I know that there's some news here recently in Florida. You have a really great win in Florida, right? I saw that. So yeah, share a little bit about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very kind. Thank you. So we've been growing every year since inception of 2005 in Las Vegas. And somehow it's working. Scaled to 49 states. 2 years ago, we're in 2 countries. Now we're in 20 countries, 20,000 real estate professionals. And we hire for culture first. Yeah. Culture first. As I mentioned earlier, that we lead with our heart and love and care for each other. And we really believe in peer encouragement, peer support, peer success. Very, very important. Even though we're in the sales industry, right? Yeah. It's not a horse race. Purpose is not profit. That's a byproduct. It'll come. But we also are a business coaching organization, and we believe in achieving greater success faster. So as a former top producer, producing agent, or real estate professional, I always put myself in the shoes of the current real estate professional, of the challenges, pain points that they're going through and where they're headed. And so 2 of our main core values that we live through every day through action, number 1, the belief is everyone matters. And number 2, the philosophy is everyone has a voice. So built by agent, for agents, real estate professionals, for real estate professionals, by talented, loving staff, for future talented staff that we develop internally. We shape the future and evolve the future together. It's not executives or some guy in the, it's a collective shared vision, if you will, of the future. And you know what? It's working. Even though a lot of the brokerages, even independent brokerages, are rotating through a lot of part-timers. Let's call it flushing out, right? I know back in Las Vegas, which is great, there's part-time cocktail waitresses and taxi drivers, and they're great people. But you know what? When the booms come, everybody, all the neighbors, everybody, because of the headlines, it's very easy to get the real estate license, right? Almost 0 barriers to entry. But now this is very healthy. Again, this shakeup is very healthy. For the full-time, long game, career-driven real estate professionals like all of you who show up. The part-timers don't show up. You're investing your time, your money. Like, it's not easy and convenient to be away from your family, during the week, and especially as you're gonna make a weekend out of it. So God bless all of you, because you believe in in yourselves. And we believe, as leaders, we believe in you because you believe in yourselves.
Thank you. Martha,
Sure.
one last question for you. What, ongoing legal implications does the settlement still have probably for brokerages that you see?
Well, the good news is the copycat cases we're seeing are dissipating. I don't know if you guys realize it, but after the Sitzer-Burnett verdict came down, 26 other lawyers decided to file the same lawsuit. So there were 26 other cases that are slowly being rolled into that. And let's be real here. I have no problem saying, and I'm a lawyer myself, 32 years licensed in the state of California. The lawyers are the ones that won that litigation. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. The lawyers won that litigation, on both sides, by the way, because they're very expensive to defend. And by the way, I'm a defense attorney. I'm not a plaintiff's attorney. So I'll say I'm a good witch, not a bad witch. But, it's the one thing that we do have to focus on is to really kind of police ourselves and to make sure that there's not these workarounds. Sometimes agents are like, what if I did this? What if I did this? I'm like, if you spend more time out, influencing your sphere, you would be making money instead of trying to make a workaround. So, these are very doable laws. They are things that we can really incorporate and benefit from. And I just think that we've got to be careful that I'm a little concerned about the policing of these laws. It's incumbent upon the MLSs now to enforce the buyer representation agreement. And one other thing that I see, at least in California, as of January 1, 2025, the buyer representation agreement will be required. It's not part of the NAR settlement. And I see a lot of other states requiring that, because not just if you're a realtor, if you're a licensee, you will be required to have that. So I will say a lot of that.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that. So just in finishing here, I want to take on, Gary teaches us the importance of having people, of your caliber and such big players in our industry, having them here on stage in front of our Nara Familia, for you guys to really experience what it is that we do and the passion that we have as an organization. And really, if you guys have seen our recent report in the Hispanic home ownership report in March, we are 49.5% of Latinos are home buyers, and we are on a mission to continue helping that grow year after year. So we are looking on to the leaders in this space, and as both of you are, to help us to continue achieve that together. And as you spoke, Kuba, back there, we are all in this together. No matter what company you're in, we are servicing, and we have to elevate our profession.
We must all coexist and lift each other up.
Thank you for the support you give Nara. Here's our Nara Familia for you. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.